Hey team, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be doing the step-by-step on the store procedure SP sequence get range. So before we can use the store procedure sys.sp store procedure sequence get range, we have to have a sequence available. And here is how I normally create a sequence. I think about how many sequence numbers I'm going to need. So here you can see that I want 25,000, but I want to increment by 6. So that total range is 25,000 times 6. And then you always have to add a little bit more because of, problems. Well, I'm not sure how we'll use them. We always got issues. I don't live in a perfect world, so I have learned to always make extra. So here my sequence number is, it's going to start at 21 million and it's going to end in 21,170,000. So I need 150,000 of them. So I added 20,000 for the just in case problem. Let's create that sequence. And there you have the sequence. Now in step 2, I'm going to start off by showing you what we did with step 1. We created a sequence. Let's execute this. And notice I created a sequence called my sequence, a start value, my end value, and how much we're going to increment by. And notice that I've already done some testing on it, so I've already moved off my start value. Now, this SQL statement right here is very important, but what it does is it just goes up against the sequence table, sys.sequences, and I get all this value. And instead of seeing ones and zeros, I like to print out words so I can see it real quick. In this step, we're finally going to get to execute the store procedure sys.sp sequence get range. Now notice we've got 2 input parameters and then we have 6 output parameters. This is our sequence name and this is how many numbers we want. Now remember, when we executed our sequence, we started at a number and we had an end number and then we said I want it by 6. So that will be 250 numbers every 6th number. Now, these are my parameters on my output, and notice most of them are type SQL variant. So what we're going to do is I'm also going to show you what that base type is for each of those. Let's execute this. Execute. Pull this result up. So notice that now I've hit this several times, and right now I'm at 21,007,500. And I have to generate 250 sequence numbers. And I'm going to do that within this end number. So each time I execute this store procedure, it increments my last use. If we go back to that very first SQL statement we were executing, if I execute it now, notice that my current value is 8994. And if I go back to this step, look what number that is, 8994. So that is the last value. So when I go start creating my next set, I'm going to add 6 to this number, which will take it up to 9,000. And then I will generate another 250 patterns. So we're almost done with this video, but now we're at the last steps. So when I execute this store procedure, and you know that it now only creates one line, these data types are SQL variants. I'm going to convert them to big ints. So my current value is going to be assigned to first. My last will be last, and this sequence, I'm going to use my incrementor. Let's execute this and see what happens. Notice, here's my start, here's my end, and this is what I'm going to be incrementing by. So now let's talk about the very last step. So declare my variables, execute the store procedure, convert the SQL variants to big ints on the 3 fields that we need. And now we're about to loop over the range provided. I'm going to loop over from current to last by this incrementor. So notice I just declare another variable, I, and it's an integer, and I'm just going to increment to show you on the output that we generate 250 patterns. Then I'm on line 31. I'm building a line that we can print out, and we're going to see them side by side. So it will be, I should probably put a space in there. Let's do another space. And I'm going to stay inside this loop, and when current equals that last number, we're going to be done. Let's execute this. And notice our output. So we begin with this, and then it increments by 6. You can see that, 6, 12, 18, 24. And then we did 250 of them. And there you have it.